Hey guys, this is one of the more serious videos that I'm going to be doing. And today I'm talking about, of, I guess, all things, the Instagram Reels situation. And it's a pretty, it's a crazy situation. Maybe that's because I'm not on social media a lot, but honestly, if social media makes me unfazed to these kind of things, I'm really, really glad that I don't have social media, and I'm actually really thankful that my parents don't let me have it. Because if this is what's normal, I'm so glad I don't have it. But um basically Instagram Reels has been flooded with these new like types of content. Everything from people giving birth to people doing not safe for work things and then getting whipped with whips, hit with bats, fight videos that end with people probably not alive anymore, just a bunch of other stuff. I'm explaining this in a really weird way because I don't know what YouTube's gonna allow me to say, or if I'm even gonna be allowed to post this video, to be honest with you. But that is the current state of Instagram Reels as of, when am I recording this? 8:56 p.m. on, what's today? Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. Um, so that's the current state of Instagram Reels. It's there's a lot of stuff on there. I watched I went through Reels with one of my friends earlier. We saw um some of the most disgusting things that, okay, not the most disgusting thing I've ever seen, but it's like it's up there. I have seen worse a few years ago, but that's classified. We don't talk about that. Moving on. We saw pretty bad things. I'm gonna call, okay, a lot of people were using what I'm going to call the Second Amendment item. And I'm going to hope that you guys know what that is. If you don't know what the Second Amendment is, you're stupid. Um, but yeah. So we're going to refer to this weapon as the Second Amendment thing. There are a lot of Second Amendment things all throughout these reels. They are very prevalent in the fight videos. And when I say very prevalent, like very prevalent. They're in a lot of the ones that I've seen from what I can remember. A lot of the fight videos also aren't just school fights or street fights that just are like, oh damn. It's like it's like one man, one guy picks the other guy up by, or lifts the other guy off the ground, holding at his wrists, takes his knee, stomps the other guy's head into the curb, and the curb breaks. That's the kind of fights that are on Instagram Reels right now, which I've been on the dark web. You do see those things on the dark web. I have seen worse. There is worse on the dark web. Mostly because a lot of people in the dark web come from oppressed societies, and um, pretty bad things happen in oppressed societies. Have you ever heard of North Korea? I think so. But yeah, that's sort of the gist of the fights. You can also watch people give birth. I have watched people um, lose their lives in a couple different ways, uh, via elephant, via other person. Just it's crazy, and I don't really know what to think of it right now. But yeah. So, anyways, there actually are a lot of questions that I do have after sort of seeing, or like looking at the, or observing, I guess, the way people react to seeing that kind of stuff. And I guess, or even more so, the way people on Instagram were sort of responding to it, um, which a lot of I will say, because I feel like I'm overreacting to this a little bit, or maybe I am actually onto something, but I feel like the way a lot of people react, it just doesn't feel right, in my opinion. And of course, I'm not gonna sit here and act better. Like, I honestly, if I was like in the wrong headspace, I probably would have been absolutely traumatized by the things that I've seen today. It honestly wasn't as bad as I'm like. I think thinking about it makes it worse for me, but I have seen videos from what I'm assuming are cartels doing pretty egregious things to a guy and his son. Pretty sure both of them were adults. No, definitely. So there's no kids involved in this. I don't think I would be able to do that. I would not be able to stomach that. But I like have seen pretty bad stuff, especially the not safe for work explicit in uh the hub kind of explicit, I guess. I have also seen the worst side of that. All this to say that the fact that I'm seeing things that are pretty close to that on Instagram Reels, to me that is saying a lot. In the way that people are making sort of jokes about it, and it's not this thing that's taken being taken very seriously, in my opinion, is a bit disturbing and is a bit telling of where our society is now. Which, I mean, maybe it's people not knowing how to cope, but call me crazy, and I'm kind of going to get into conspiracy theories here. I don't believe in all of them. I believe in like a couple of them because I know for a fact that the government doesn't tell us the entire truth. Um, like I don't think that pigeons are government spies because that's actually stupid. I eat pigeons. Actually, no, my parents do. So they are not government birds. That's just not true. But I also think that the government isn't completely honest or open with a lot of the things that they do. Because of course corruption is everywhere, literally everywhere. So my new sort of conspiracy theory is I think that the stuff that is going on Instagram Reels right now, and this is gonna be a pretty big hear me out moment because I know I sound insane right now, but I really am thinking about it, and I am wondering to myself, is there a group of people behind what has happened who are possibly, I guess, uh, doing what they're doing and trying to see what reaction they get out of the people. What I have found in my experience with about four or five people is we're all, well, I had to act like I was, but we are all very desensitized to it, and it's just sort of like a whatever, you can laugh at it, oh that's crazy, ew, blah blah blah. And of course, and I guess I'm not looking for this um this just crazy like reaction of like hyperventilating and crying and whatnot, because I mean I was with guys, so we're not crying in public, but I feel like just something about the way that they reacted felt wrong, and it's coming from me. If you know who I am very personally, if someone isn't reacting the right way, or what I feel like is a more appropriate way to this kind of stuff, something's wrong. I'm not really at liberty to say why I said that, but if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And if you're gonna come ask me, I'm not gonna tell you. But yeah. And I think this entire thing is, it might sound crazy. I feel like to some extent this is a government experiment, a government experiment. Maybe not necessarily even by the U.S. government. Like this could just be from anywhere in the world, some secret maybe like group of people who maybe hold a lot of power, maybe don't, um, who are doing this to see how do people react to different types of stimulations, when they watch people give birth, when they watch people um, stop living, um, like in a context where everything feels a bit more real rather than watching a movie like The Terrifier. I haven't seen the third one, by the way. but or like stuff like the Terrifier or Thanksgiving or stuff like that, like when you put it in a context where it's everything just seems a bit more real, even though I would also believe that most of it is probably not, but some of it definitely is. Just seeing how people react to that. What do the masses think of this? Uh, when this happens, what do they do? Oh, they do this. What about when this happens? What do they do? Oh, they do that, and blah 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 blah. With this, with violence, gore, and uh, that side of like stimulants, explicit stuff. The I people sort of joke about it. We don't take it super seriously. I feel like there are a couple of us who are trying to cope. Maybe I'm taking this too seriously, but I don't think that this is something that should be just taken as sort of like a ha 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 kind of thing. Because I have, I guess, I feel like I'm saying too much that I'm not allowed to say. I have my ways of knowing real life incidents that do happen. Um, and the stuff that you see on Reels, if you do have Reels, those things really do happen. And plenty of those instances are probably real things that happen. And I feel like people aren't taking this seriously enough. Like, I'm looking around and no one is really concerned, and it doesn't feel right in my opinion. Like, we're watching people stop living. We are watching dogs who have stopped living with very big holes in them, um that were definitely not clean and are pretty close to fresh. This is not something that we should be taking very lightly, and the fact that this can happen to such a big platform like Instagram to me is concerning, which is making me all more grateful that I only really have YouTube. But then also I only get YouTube Shorts, which sucks. But whatever. But there's so many. I feel like there's something wrong. I've kind of said my piece and I've been going for more than 10 minutes now. I've been going for 12 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, now it's 30 seconds, but something feels wrong about the way people are reacting to this. Of course, I'm not telling people to like advocate against this because I don't think there's really much that you're going to be able to do about this. But it doesn't feel like the slightest concerns are really even being addressed about this, and it just feels like this isn't something that people are really grasping onto. Like, why is this kind of content flooding mainstream social media where billions of people are on these platforms watching these kind of stuff, and we're all just kind of laughing about it? That doesn't feel right to me. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of repeating myself now. I really do feel like the government is in some way involved in this. I think someone somewhere out there has um is trying to gauge where society is in the way that they react to things, the way they think of things, the way they look at things, their perspectives, um, just who the masses are and how to control them. There's probably some psychology stuff I don't know about that are at play here. I don't know a lot about psychology. I know sort of not the bare minimum. I know a little more than the bare minimum, but I do think that the way people respond to violence and gore being all over mainstream media is maybe I really do think that it's going to be used in some way, shape, or form. Maybe they're going to start, I don't know, promoting, or not promoting, but sort of talking about more violence on like the news, or maybe whatever group wants to go do their thing against another group, for instance. um I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like a terrorist group, um against whatever country it may be, not necessarily America, it could be any country, but they could be looking at the way that people respond to this kind of violence and be like, okay, if they respond to it this way, what are the chances that they're gonna really be responding differently when they see stuff like that on the news? That's honestly a bit far fetched for me. um, or not far fetched for me. I think it's a bit far fetched. It's a bit of a stretched statement, is how I'll put it. Um, but I'm really losing my train of thought here. But but there is definitely a way that someone with too much knowledge can use the information that they now have about Instagram Reels and how people are looking at the craziest things possible and how nobody really seems to actually care about it. People are making jokes about it. They're like, this is crazy, blah, 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 blah. And you have other people making jokes who are like, be ready for February 26th, pretending like they knew about it before when really they're making jokes about it today. For me, this highlights a really big issue in media. I'm so sorry, guys, to anybody who's still here. I really do feel like I'm repeating myself, but I just something is wrong. Something is not right about this. Um, I'm probably gonna talk about this again eventually, but something is not right here. The fact that this can one happen to a social media platform and nobody really seems to actually care that much, and we're all just kind of joking about it, and we're all talking about it like it's sort of normal and it's whatever, while we're watching dogs with holes in them and people with holes in them, both of which have stopped living, is a bit disturbing. And the fact that people seem to be so desensitized to this now is it's scary to me, and I want to know what other people have, like what other opinions that people have. Um, I'm so sorry that this is like a black screen video because I really want comments to be on for this video because they will take like YouTube will take comments off my video if I decide to show myself. So, um, yeah, that's sort of it, I guess. Um, if you're here for 18 minutes or if you're even here at all and you maybe skip to the end, I'm so glad that you decided to stay. I'm really happy that you decided to stay until the end. I want to know your opinions on this. Do you think that there's something suspicious? And I guess, is there like anything else, really? Um, that any thoughts that you have on it? Post in the comments below. This video's probably not gonna get that many views. It's fine. Um, but I don't know. That's really what I have to say. But thank you for those of you who watched, and yeah, goodbye.